This week we are going to create a football game where you kick a field goal. So first thing we need to do is we need to delete the cat so we get him out of the way. Then we could add a background, and let's see if we have an outdoor field. We could go to sports or outdoors, see if we find something that we like. I'll go to sports and I'll click playing field. Now we have a field here. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in a sprite, and we're going to search. I'm going to search for an arrow. You have an arrow. Okay, and then you're going to go to costumes and you're going to pick the arrow to go this way. Okay, so we have that. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to a sprite. We're going to draw, and we're going to draw in a meter. Okay, so by meter I mean you're going to have a red. So let's do this. Let's make this, and we'll do a little square that's red, like this. And then we're going to do the top part now. We'll make this green. Okay, so we're going to make this right on the top. And you can make this a little bigger if you want to make it easier. It's up to you how you want to make it. So you see, this is how we're going to make our field goal. They're going to have the red and the green. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to go over here, we're going to draw. And let's draw in a football. We'll do a little circle. Let's go with all of our colors here. Go find a little bit of a yellowish, and then maybe a little darker. And then we'll move this a little darker. And now we have a football. Actually, you know, I wanted it a little bit darker. Let me make that just a little bit darker. That's good. Okay, so now I got my football here. And then I'm going to go to a paintbrush. And maybe I'll have a little bit of a white part here. And I could do that like this. You could just draw like this. Now you got your football set up. Okay, so now you got your football. You have your meter. And the last thing we're going to do, and these are all sprites. So we just add in the background, and then we add our sprites. Now we have to add in a field goal. So I'll go to the line over here. And I'm going to make the color yellow for field goal. Put all our colors in yellow, and you could make it thicker if you like on the top. Okay, so now I got my field goal here. So now I got my field goal. Okay, I got my football, I got my field goal, and I got my meter. Okay, so we have all those here. So let's code these a few at a time. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is let's do the field goal first. So the field goal, we want to put the field goal right around here. So we're going to go code, and we're going to go to events, and we're going to say when clicked. When clicked. Okay, so where do we want the field goal to go to? Let's see. Maybe we can make this a little higher or lower. You're going to pick where you like it here, and maybe we'll put it a little bit back over there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put in, let's say, let's try this. Let's try make this 5. Let's see how this goes. 5, and let's try 82. I want it maybe a little bit more to the left. Actually, not. I'll keep this 582. And then what we'll do is I'll move this way. Maybe a little bit more this way to center. Let's try 70. Let's make that 70. Motion go to 7083. That's right there in the middle. And you could experiment how you want to do it. If you want to use a different number, it's up to you how you want to do it. So that's that one. Now let's take a look at the meter. Where do we want the meter to go? We want the meter over here. We're going to click on Sprite 1. I'll even rename this if you want. We could name this meter. Sprite 2, we could call that the football. And here we could call this goal. Okay, so now let's look at the meter. When we start the game, I want the meter to go to -51, -44. We go to events, when clicked. Motion go to -51, -144. Okay, so now when we click our flag, we have our football. Later we'll do the football. We have our goal at that point. We have our meter over here. Now we want to do the arrow. Okay, so let's take a look at the arrow now. Now when the arrow starts the flag, we want the arrow to go to, we want it to go to, where do we want it to go to? Probably right around here. -145, -54. Now notice if you put it where you want first, then if you go to, it will be there for you. Okay, so now we have another event we want to do when the flag's clicked. We're going to say control forever. And let's have motion glide. We'll have glide and we'll have glide. Okay, so maybe you want it to glide at this point, Y51. And maybe you want to go to Y -91. And X could be -151. Let's put that on the top. -151 over here. Oh, do it again. Maybe make this down here to -119. Okay, so let's see how that goes. A little too slow, right? So if it's too slow and easy for you, what you could do is you could change this number to 0.5. 0.5, 0.5. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we need to do the broadcast. So we have events, when clicked, control, if then. What do you want to do if it hits the red? You're going to say if it's sensing, touching color red. Sensing, click it, touching color red. What do you want to do if it's touching the color red? You're going to go to an event and you're going to go to broadcast. Now, you want it to say broadcast miss. If you don't have broadcast miss, you go to new message and you write miss. Okay? I already have it. So I'll just, after you create it, we'll say miss. So I have if touching red, broadcast miss, right click duplicate. Now I'm going to say if touching color, and I click on that, and I click the exact green. If touching the green, I want it to broadcast good. Now if you don't have good there, you go to new message and you just type in good. Okay? And you click OK. So now I have this arrow and meter set up. First part we're going to do, when clicked, looks, show. We want to show that football when we start. And we want to set the size to 100. Now, the reason why we start it like this is because eventually we're going to make the ball disappear, either disappear this way or disappear down the center. Then we're going to say motion go to. Where do we want to start the football at? I like that, -60 and -84. That's where I like it to start. Now, you could change this if you want. You could change this to make it farther up or farther back, but you just put it where you want it to go. And then you know, you look at these numbers down here, the X and the Y, and you put it here where you want it to be. So we got our football there. Next thing what we're going to do is we have to do what happens when it misses when it's good. So now we're going to go to events, and we're going to go to when I receive. And we have when I receive good and when I receive miss. So first I'll make the miss. Okay, I'll do the miss first. So what do we want to do if it's a miss? If it's a miss, motion, we want to glide. We want to glide, and we can make this half a second, 0.5. 0.5 seconds, we want to glide to, maybe we want to glide like here. We'll make this like here, like -34, 150. And you could experiment with this, where you want it to go. And put the ball first where you want it to go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say, looks, we're going to change the size. Okay, change size by -20, because we want it to get smaller. As the ball gets farther away, we want it to get smaller and smaller. Change size by -20. And then we want to go motion, glide. We want to do another glide. Glide. And we want it to go maybe like glide over here. It's up to you how you want to do it. You can make, oh, sorry about that. Glide, we want it to glide over here maybe. -77. And we could make this, maybe make it go a little higher, like 180. So we have a basic setup here. And let's just add a few things. Let's change the size. And we'll go to looks. And we're going to change the size. Change the size. And we'll repeat it. Let's try 10 times. repeat 10 times. We'll change size by -10. Oh, -10. And then what we'll do is we'll wait 0.1 seconds. Okay, so we have 0.1 seconds. And then what we got here is 10 times. And then what we want to do is we want to hide the ball. We want to hide it. We want it to disappear. And then we want to wait 1 second. And then we want to show the ball. We want to show the ball. And then what we want to do is set the size to 100 because we're going to make the ball back to where it was, to 100. And then we're going to go to the beginning again. So motion, and then we're going to go to 60 -84. Go to 60 -84. Is we go to the football, and we're going to do a right click, duplicate, and we're going to have when I receive. Let me put this lower. Now we had the one where it goes in, and now we're going to do when I receive good. So what do you want to do when it receives good? You want it to glide to the center. So make this 40. Okay, and then everything should be the same pretty much, except maybe it goes a little bit more like that. 205, and then we got this 40. So that's a miss. We got our miss. And then for good, we have it go down to the center. Okay, so now that's working. We have everything's working pretty good. And then the last part that we just want to do with our code is we want to go to, let's create a variable. And then let's go to events. When I receive good, we'll go to a variable. We're going to make a variable, and we're going to call it score. And we're going to say, after you get a good score, after it goes in, you can control, wait 1 second, and then a variable, you're going to change score by 1. Okay, and then the last thing you have to do is when you start your game, you set your score to 0. So now let's take a look at the whole game, how it goes. Click your flag. If you go to the red when you click the spacebar, it's a miss. And if you want it to go in, you can go like this, it goes straight in. And if you want to, you could change the ball if you want it to go a little bit more to the left. I can make this even farther. I can make this, maybe like -120. We could even, fix that a little bit. So let's take a look at that. We'll make the miss go even wider. Yeah, that makes it look even wider. Okay, so that's that. And so that's our football game for this week.